Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the program today, we're going to discuss that sex offenders bill that was passed in the legislature and what's to prevent Governor Guinn from being a lame duck for the rest of the session. Randy Thompson has the rundown.
We have the president of the Children's Advocacy Alliance, Donna Coleman, and joining her is George Togliatti, the director of Department of Public Safety, and then Lisa Foster, deputy chief of staff to Governor Guinn.
And coming up on the Power Pundit panel today, Scott Bensing, Marlene Lockhart, and Liz MacMenamin. It's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
Here at the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, water resources come from fresh, clean groundwater, approved by state permits. The water is pumped from wells to million-gallon storage tanks and then distributed to TRI companies. Another amenity is our investment in a state-of-the-art wastewater treatment plant. This disposal system converts waste to clean water for industrial applications. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevada.
When making your decision as where to play golf, consider the resort at Red Hawk. You know you have made the right choice the moment you arrive. The friendly staff welcomes you to our award-winning pro shop. You know you've made the right decision on the first tee. The Lakes course is in the best condition in years. You know you've made the right choice after you've played 18 holes. The resort at Red Hawk, the right choice.
Nevada Newsmakers is sponsored in part by the Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association.
As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
You bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they've saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're joined by Donna Coleman, who's the president of Children's Advocacy Alliance, and George Togliatti, director of Nevada's Department of Public Safety. Welcome to both of you. A return appearance. You were here when I was on vacation talking about the sex offender bill that was going through the legislature. Tell us how things went. You got a portion of it, but not everything. How did it work out?
Well, Dina Titus and Bill Raggio and others co-sponsored the bill SB 341, which tightens the sex offender laws in Nevada, adds addresses to the website, and also requires sex offenders to have to renew their gaming and driver's license on an annual basis. When we went to the legislature, when I went to Dina with this bill and Dina introduced the bill, I felt very confident that this bill would go through without any problems. But as everything happens in the legislature, nothing is guaranteed. And there was a lot of game playing, a lot of politics going on with this bill, and it really upset me that they would do that with this particular bill.
Anybody in particular that you want to point out here?
Well, you know, let's go start off with Bernie Anderson in Assembly Judiciary. The bill has to go to Senate Judiciary first. It was reworked from an 80-page bill to a 40-page bill. There was a lot in the bill that shouldn't have been in the bill. Then it went to the Finance Committee in the Senate, it went through fine. Then it went to the Assembly Judiciary. Now, in session 2003, when we established the sex offender website, my organization actually paid for the sex offender website because we knew that if there was a fiscal note on it, there was no way it was getting through. So when it got to Assembly Judiciary in the 2003 session, Assemblyman Anderson wouldn't even hear the bill. He refused to hear it. So Senator Rawson grabbed the bill, tacked it on another bill and as an amendment, and that's how we got it passed. You know, and I was pretty upset at that point.
Okay, what is Assemblyman Anderson's problem with the bill?
Assemblyman Anderson, from what I understand, and it was reported recently in the Nevada appeal, that his problem with the bill was that he felt that it would cost too much money and put too much of a burden on the criminal repository, and that he felt that the sex offender population was a very small part of the general criminal population in the state, which is not true, because if you look at the state in whole, we had 187 murders last year, and we've got 5,700 active sex offenders. So, you know, and to put a price tag on keeping track of sex offenders and keeping our children safe is outrageous.
Okay, well now you're an advocate, and I understand where you're coming from. But you're an administrator here, and you do have to look at costs. Was Bernie Anderson correct in looking at that?
The entire legislature looked at all the costs, particularly with not only my department, but other departments. And it was, even though there was some money available this session, it, in my opinion, wasn't any easier to get money from the legislature. They were pretty tough with the buck, and but I would like to mention that
and rightfully so, I should say.
Oh, and rightfully so. It's always a tough fight trying to get very competitive to get our share of the dollar. But I'd like to also give a plug to the governor's office, because he got us involved, and he said, get a hold of Donna Coleman and get a hold of and you take your department and work on this bill, and then work with Senators Raggio and Senator Titus. And it was very bipartisan, and in my role, apolitical, to get this thing through. And we got, with a one-year driver's license and gaming card, it really helps law enforcement.
Okay, Donna, I know that Senator Titus has already said she'll help you with the next phase of this in the next session. What are you looking for out of the next session?
Well, this really is going to affect sex offenders. It's going to be a tremendous effect on sex offenders, because they're not going to be able to get a driver's license unless they have registered. And the reason that's important is because Nevada is the fifth worst in the country for sex offender registry. We have 39% out of compliance. To give you an example, Arizona's got 5%. So I'm pretty happy with the things that we got in the bill. There were 3 pieces that got amended out in Ways and Means, which, in my opinion, is crazy. I don't understand where Ways and Means gets off taking anything out of a bill that doesn't have anything to do with money. I mean, how does that happen?
I believe it's called politics, Tom.
Well, you know, it shouldn't have happened that way. And the 3 pieces they took out was that prison officials, mental health workers, and teachers are exempt from the sex offender laws. So if you offend, and you're a mental health worker, and you offend on a person in your facility and do a sex offense, you're not required to register as a sex offender like every other person in the state. The teachers, some are required, but most of the offenses are not required to become sex offenders. That means a teacher can be fired for a sex offense and go to another state and not have a record as a sex offender, and that is wrong. These people should be held to a higher standard, or at least the same standard, and I'm not sure it's legal. And I'm looking into it right now, because there may be a lawsuit against the state of Nevada for this.
Let me just go to the other side of this coin here. You know, we let people out of prison after they've served their terms. We want them to be registered. Is there a concern at some point of vigilantism when you have this much information on websites?
I don't think there's any history of vigilantism when you put names on websites, and it's been used before in other states, and addresses. And from our perspective, we have the ability to put anything on the website, whether it's a business address or a residence address. And again, that decision was made, and should be made through the community and their representatives to decide how much or how little information goes on there. But there's really no history of any vigilantism.
What about recidivism of this offense? What percentage do you see?
That, again, to me, and Donna will have her opinion on this, but I think we're still in a gray area on recidivism as far as what types of crimes, because there's so many different, when you clump sex offenders into one group, there's a whole bunch of different types of sex offenders, those involved with, children, young people, on young people, and so on and so forth. And I'm not that comfortable with the statistics that are out there right now.
Okay, Donna?
I will tell you that I've read a lot about recidivism, and I work with people at the Center for Sex Offender Management in Washington, D.C. This type of crime is a highly unreported crime, and the recidivism rates are all over the board. We really don't know what they are. We do suspect that pedophiles are not curable and that their recidivism rate is very high. We know that there's been studies done, and there was a test done where they went into prisons and did lie detectors on sex offenders and found out the average sex offender had 110 victims before they were caught.
Okay, what is the address of your website?
Which website? The sex offender website? nvsexoffenders.gov.
Okay, and we'll put that on the Nevada Newsmakers page at KVBC and KRNV, and we wish you continued good luck in this project. And it stirred a lot of interest the last time you were on, and I'm sure this is going to do even more. Thank you both for being here. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
My family started this business 27 years ago.
We work hard to serve our customers and our community. But it's getting harder and harder to keep the doors open.
For example, our workers' comp is going through the roof. Isn't anyone on my side anymore?
The Retail Association of Nevada is. If you're a small business owner, we can cut your workers' comp by up to 50%. Lobby for your interests and keep you informed. Put us to work today.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org. The National Mining Association.
Reno's best dining values are all at one casino, the Pepper Mill. You can enjoy great savings on our popular specials. Pepper Mill's coffee shop offers daily lunch specials, low-carb dining, and all your favorite comfort foods. You'll find sensational lunch specials featuring Reno's freshest seafood, sushi, pasta, and more at Oceano. And early bird specials at Reno's Premier Steakhouse and Romanza Ristorante Italiano. The best values are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you dining?
Your best value in sight is here for you to see. From frames to lenses to eye exams, you're covered A to Z. Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Davis Optical Centers, with 2 locations in Reno and Sparks.
Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And we welcome to the program Lisa Foster, who is Deputy Chief of Staff to Governor Guinn. Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Sam.
Tell us, if you will, what the last couple of days were like at the legislature. In the last legislative session, a lot of people said that Governor Guinn wasn't at the legislature a lot and wasn't applying as much pressure as he might have done. That was definitely not the case this time around.
No, it sure was not the case. We were very involved round the clock. As you know, the legislature went all night Monday night because they needed to do a special session, and that was extended. And he was very involved in helping decide a lot of the last issues. We negotiated so many things with legislators right at the end.
And he wanted to have his rebate.
Absolutely.
And he held hostage Barbara Blecky's prescription drug bill until the very end there.
Well, I don't know if he held it hostage. It was being held between the two houses. There was an energy bill that the Assembly was holding while the Senate held hostage her prescription drug bill.
But in the end, Everything came out.
Everything came out. He's going to be signing that bill.
Okay. Was there a sense of relief at the executive office when the session was finally called?
Absolutely. I think that it was disappointing when they didn't finish on time, but they did wrap up right after noon on Tuesday, and it was very much a sense of relief. We got a lot of wonderful things passed out of the legislature. They were successful in really doing some good things in, of course, our rebate. We were excited about that. $100 million education program that we had put together. Bills that legislators wanted. The capital improvement plan that we have. So many good things are going to happen in the state now as a result of what they did.
Okay, about 18 months left for Governor Guinn to serve. He's already actively gotten himself involved in the upcoming governor's race by trying to bring on people to run. But how does he prevent himself from being a lame duck? What is his plan over the next 18 months?
Well, it is a $6 billion organization. We have 16,000 employees. He's running a big company, essentially, and you can't do that by not showing up. He's going to be very involved in implementing the new bills that were passed, the new laws that have come into place. He will be continuing to serve as chair of the Transportation Board. I think he's the only governor in the country that does that. We have a lot of new plans for mental health, education. There's so much that he's going to oversee the implementation of. Starting with the rebate, we're getting that going immediately.
Now, people won't be receiving their checks until the fall, though, correct?
Probably. We don't have the timeline yet. We're still trying to work through that. We're hoping by the 1st of September, maybe a couple weeks after that.
Now, will this be an automatic process, or will people have to apply for this?
It's an automatic process. We're getting the website up and running. You could probably go to the DMV website either now or within a couple days and see what will happen, how you will get that check. It's important that people update their address with the DMV if they haven't done that recently.
Okay. Do you think that there's, or does the governor's office feel that there's going to be any problems when people find out? A lot of people were expecting a $300 rebate. That kind of was what got out there at the beginning of this discussion, but now it seems that it's going to be a minimum of $75, and then could go upwards to the $300 figure. Is there going to be a problem when people find out that they're not going to get as much as they thought?
Well, hopefully not too much of a problem. I'm not sure why people thought that it was always pitched as a maximum.
I think we in the media may have made that mistake in getting it out there.
And when viewers hear $300 maximum, they're hoping that they're getting the maximum. I hope that people will understand when they get back just what they paid in. And for so many people that only paid in the minimum of $39, they're getting a lot more than that back.
And Lisa Foster, we thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
For more than a decade, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has been helping the community embrace conservation as a way of life. That includes replacing more than 50 million square feet of grass with water-smart landscaping. During the worst drought on record, watering restrictions and tough landscaping codes have reduced the community's water use by billions of gallons, even as thousands of new residents were moving into Nevada. That's smart water management, and that's our promise to Nevada.
When making your decision as where to play golf, consider the resort at Red Hawk. You know you have made the right choice the moment you arrive. The friendly staff welcomes you to our award-winning pro shop. You know you've made the right decision on the first tee. The Lakes course is in the best condition in years. You know you've made the right choice after you've played 18 holes. The resort at Red Hawk, the right choice.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seem to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? They do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And we're joined by our Power Pundit panel today. A great one as always. Marlene Lockhart is here with Capital Strategies. Liz MacMenamin with Government Affairs for the Retail Association of Nevada, one of our proud sponsors. And Scott Bensing, Chief of Staff for Senator John Ensign. Pleasure to have all of you here. Okay, so Dick Durbin yesterday apologizes to the Senate for making the comparison with the U.S. interrogators at Guantanamo Bay being like Nazis and Pol Pot and all these other horrible characters from the past. You know, he's the deputy minority leader. What in the world was he thinking?
Well, I think he wasn't, and that's right. The operative word. I think we've got a real problem going on. I think the entire Congress, both sides, need to ratchet back the rhetoric. I think folks are very concerned about what they see happening in D.C. and the level of dialogue. We've got some huge issues. We're a country at war, and I think folks forget about that. And when the language that is being tossed around on both sides, back and forth, continues, it is not helpful to solving or even having an intellectual discussion about any of these tough issues.
But, you know, Liz, don't the Democrats have to have started out this session with a harder line than they had before?
Oh, absolutely.
To establish a beachhead?
What, no with an exclamation point at the end of it?
Yeah, a huge no, 2 exclamation points. Yes, no, they absolutely have started out with a harder line. And I don't know that it's going to soften during this administration. It would be interesting to see if they do pull back and soften some of their viewpoints and start supporting what's actually going on.
You know, I brought this up yesterday on the Pundit panel, Scott. It looks more and more like John McCain is running the Senate on the Republican side. And Dr. Frist is not doing a very good job. Even David Brooks in yesterday's New York Times attacked him.
Well, I didn't catch that New York Times piece. That's not my paper of choice necessarily. Let me get back, if I could, to Senator Durbin's comments. The White House called them reprehensible.
By the way, David Brooks is a conservative. I just want to point that out.
And the New York Times prints him?
Mm-hmm. I don't think it was a matter of each side just ratcheting up language. I think those remarks, as everybody has come to understand, were above and beyond, were much over the line. And they went not to just the policies of the president, but they went directly to the men and women who are serving around the country, but specifically in Gitmo. And I don't think it's just another blip in the verbal war. I think it, unfortunately, I think some people have gotten too far over the line. And the apology, I think, was healthy, and we'll see where we go from there. But
we'll see if he actually wears a Club Gitmo shirt now, like Russ Limbaugh selling.
Okay, your boss, Senator Ensign, is working on getting into the leadership before he even gets into his second term here. Would you get us up to speed on this?
Well, absolutely, which is the leadership elections will be held after the 2006 election. Senator Ensign is up for re-election. If he is re-elected,
very strong opposition.
Yes, sir. We are running a vigorous campaign. Nevada is
none of the above.
Nevada is a small state. Anything could happen. So we're preparing to have a top-tier candidate. On the leadership front, Senator Ensign has announced that he will run for vice chairman of the conference, which will allow him to do a number of things. Most importantly, will allow him to be at the table with Republican leadership when strategy is discussed.
Guy, right?
He'll be number 5, and will be the only state, assuming Senator Reid maintains his title, the only state with both senators in leadership. And we're very excited about that. Now, the elections have not happened yet, but we're well positioned.
How do you see that leadership shaking out? I mean, is Frist running again?
Senator Frist
he may run for president.
He's term limited himself in the Senate. Okay. I believe Senator McKyle will probably take over majority leader. Senator Santorum will step up to whip. Senator Kyle, conference chair. Senator Hutchinson from Texas policy chair.
Okay.
Is the way it's shaping up.
Marlene, even from a Democratic point of view, having a Republican senator as number 5 person in the Senate has got to be helpful for the state of Nevada.
Oh, absolutely. There's no question about it. And I think you see what the leadership role that Senator Reid has and has held consistently even before his current reign as minority leader, what that has done for the state of Nevada and the benefits that have accrued back to the state. If Senator Ensign is successful, it just doubles the prestige of the state of Nevada and also the opportunity for Nevada not only in benefits but to have a major say in policy issues of this entire country. I think it's tremendous.
Just being able to have a seat at the table is impressive. So
well, and also, and this is obviously praise Senator Ensign Day. He's moving to have on a national basis what we have on a statewide basis here, which is the paper trail on the voting machines. Correct?
Yes, absolutely. There are few people who know as well as he does. Given his 1998 race against Senator Reid and the initial recount, we went through that in Clark County, and they said they recounted and the machines just spit out the same number because there was nothing else to check. They were done electronically. So he feels very strongly about it, and it's worked here, and we believe it can work other places as well.
And the important thing is that you don't actually get a receipt, so you can't walk outside of the polling place and get your dollar for having voted for the candidate of your choice, which will be a good thing. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
High-tech companies demand perfect world amenities. They require clean, reliable power, state-of-the-art fiber optic communications, and clean water sources. In a perfect world, companies would have immediate access to rail and interstate freeways. There would be 4-lane expressways that shorten shipping times and provide convenient commute routes for valued employees. Well, the future is now, and it's here. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
South Reno's hotspot for food, fun, and friends is the Tamarack Junction. Play over 480 of the hottest slots and video poker games. Enjoy hot times and sizzling food specials at Sully's Sports Bar, Grill, and Nightclub. Watch your favorite game on one of our jumbo high-definition plasma TVs. Enjoy great food 24 hours a day in the dining car restaurant. Or sample the best hot and cold sandwiches in the Whistle Stop Deli. The Tamarack Junction is your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway. Yeah.
My family started this business 27 years ago.
We work hard to serve our customers and our community. But it's getting harder and harder to keep the doors open.
For example, our workers' comp is going through the roof. Isn't anyone on my side anymore?
The Retail Association of Nevada is. If you're a small business owner, we can cut your workers' comp by up to 50%, lobby for your interests, and keep you informed. Put us to work today.
The materials we rely on every day come from the ground, and modern mining technology brings them to us cleaner and safer than ever before. To learn more about America's natural resources, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
Join us next week for a lot of great guests. We'll see you then on Nevada Newsmakers. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.